Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rage Quit Radio, the tribute to Player's Handbook, name pending.
Yes. Hi, Rich.
And today we're actually going to do a little tabletop with Infinity. Beautiful game. I don't know too much about it, so Dennis, if you'd like to explain a little bit about Infinity, a little bit to the
Sure. The main draw of Infinity is of course the models. The models are beautiful. But other than that, the game plays a little bit differently from the other games that you may have played, where you sit and you wait for the other guy to do stuff, and then you do stuff, and so on and so forth. In Infinity, the tagline is that it's never not your turn. So you play your active turn, but when the other guy is active, then you get to react to all the things that the other guy is doing. So I think that's really the tagline of the game, which makes it a little bit fun too.
And if you want to know a little more about Infinity and a little more of what we think on the game, this was the game we actually played during our very first episode of Rage Quit Radio on the ECS network. So go back and listen to that. It's myself and Grilled Cheeses, Justin Spearman. Dennis, of course, was there because it's his game. Yeah, we did that episode before we started doing RQR Plays.
So now we have a chance for you to actually see the game, except for we're not going to give you the full playthrough.
Take forever.
It'll take a really, really long time. So what we'll do is after every round, we'll come back and tell you exactly what we did and how we strategized, for our win.
In the style of the Player's Handbook, name pending. So, and Dennis is, it's actually going to be Chris and myself playing. Dennis is going to be our coach because he actually knows what he's doing and we don't.
Kind of.
That inspires me not at all. That's the other reason you're not going to see the whole game, because that way you can't catch our screw-ups.
All right.
All right, so we'll be back in just a few moments with a little bit of, afterthought, and we'll see you soon. Welcome back to Rage Quit Radio. And we just got finished with the first round of our epic game of Infinity.
Epic. We don't know.
What would you call it?
I would call it a prolonged bollock cost because we don't know what we're doing. But
fair enough. Right now, there's been some movement, some wounds.
A wound.
A wound. Fair.
And a couple of guys cowering in fear.
Which is a fair statement. I guess the best way to describe is what?
Well, what did you do on your turn? Chris went first.
Oh yes, okay. So I went first.
And he started with his sniper dude,
rifle, who was originally in full on camo. Who then I decided to go ahead and shoot Mike's sniper on the other side. We kind of pretty much played freehand fire because neither one of us attempted to actually truly hit each other.
The sniper that Chris has actually has one of two ways to start the game. He can either start the game not on the table at all, and then he randomly shows up somewhere. He's already elected that his character is deployed in spot A. He cannot move from spot A unless he reveals himself. Or he can deploy as a template, which basically means he's the predator, and we see a shimmering thing floating around, but he can still move. And he has to be discovered either way before he can be shot at, or he has to unveil his presence. And I discovered it, or I was going to try to discover him.
Side door.
And then the side door opened, letting me know exactly where he was when he decided to take a pot shot at my sniper.
right? And they gloriously missed each other.
Yes.
All right. So next, I think you're heavy moved.
Heavy moved, who I thought I was pretty good at covering until I realized Sniper Boy on Mike's end was able to see him just fine. That's when he got his first wound.
And then he moved up the ladder.
And got shot at again.
By those two grunts over there.
And the Fusiliers, who apparently cannot hit shit for nothing and nobody.
Well, that might change.
So what we've established is, this guy is a gun mage. For those people who know my background in War Machine, this is a gun mage. These guys are long gunners. Just so we know what we're doing.
And has decided to go prone. And we've discovered, after the round was over, that I'm actually capable of moving while prone. So,
that was my bad.
So you're not... See, the whole point of doing it this way is to not out our screw-ups.
No, I want to out the screw
Okay, you go
up
ahead.
because that was a screw up that we could have had.
Yeah, well.
And then I believe in his final move,
My flamethrower girl has decided to stay away from the sniper, but
hopefully have a sniper barbecue in the near
in the
future.
future. So, we're working on that slowly but surely.
All right.
Now we head over to Mike's side where Mike will take over on his strategy.
All right, so my turn starts with Sniper Joe. It's actually, Nissi or Nisei or something like that. Anyway, Sniper Joe taking a shot. I think I shot it. Did I shoot your sniper first?
Yeah,
I shot at the sniper who went prone because he wet himself.
Yep.
Then, let's see, I believe the next thing I did was try to jump onto the board. Now, to give you an idea, there's certain characters that can have jump jets. They're Boba Fett. And in my case, one of them is an Akal Commando. And you have a jump template, i.e. this, and you put it completely within an area, i.e. here, because my thought process was drop him here, and there are 3 objectives that will score us points, handled conveniently enough by War Machine coins. So we have that here, and, well, if you miss, and I did, you drift 16 inches in one of these directions, and I drifted way the hell over here.
Away from the objectives.
About as far away from the objective I wanted as humanly possible, unless I'd wound up over here somewhere. And so that was that.
Well, at least you didn't land in front of a flamethrower. That would have been fun.
It would have been cool if you landed on this objective.
It would have been kind of hilarious. So that happened. I'm going to get the rest of this stuff out of order, but I don't think it matters too much. Sniper Joe, I think, did take some pot shots at a gump over there hiding behind a wall. We did have Jump Jet Boy decide to move up here. After attempting to put 6 bullets into Yon Flamethrower Chick, we have established that Gun Mage, Long Gunners, Gun Mage Captain. So the Jump Captain put 6 bullets over there and did nothing. And my heavy armor, which is Orc, moved aggressively over here towards this objective, put himself in harm's way briefly, and shrugged it off thanks to his armor. So that's pretty much my turn.
Nice.
And I have some Fusiliers who have just decided to stay where they are because they like shooting things. And they're waiting on some dude over there with a knife to stand up. So, that was my turn.
Yep.
All right, we'll continue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to part 2 of our Infinity game. And round 2, stuff actually died. Yes.
Including all of our leaders.
Yeah.
Blood was shit.
Okay, so we'll start off with my first mistake. My lieutenant, at the time my sniper was right here in the prone position. I decided to stand up. Where we have our
Sniper
Joe over here. Got a good, clean, critical shot. Took me out.
Boom, headshot.
There goes my lieutenant. Next, I wouldn't call this a mistake, but I had him in prone position to go here.
Moving toward the
Moving
objective.
towards the objective, and I stood up and took pot shots at 2 goons he had behind the barricade. Right over here.
One of them was my lieutenant, who died.
And the other guy, the other mook, who decided he was going to get a headshot on...
Boom, headshot.
So, that happened. Then, my third, I guess this is not really a mistake, it's just a risk I decided to take. My flamethrower girl, I wanted to start heading towards objective, getting away from shots, who ended up taking the bullet herself. And ends up getting killed.
From Boba Fett no longer appearing in this game.
Who Boba Fett gets hit by random grunt, who I decide to also crit.
Yeah, boom, headshot.
Boom, headshot. From distance, so...
To give people an idea of what we mean by that, so, whose frame reference might be War Machine and Hordes, which we typically did on the old Rage Quit Radio, and we'll do on occasion on this one. Critical was a hit where 2 dice matched. Well, in this game, a critical hit is a hit where you roll your target number exactly. Not higher, not lower. You actually hit the number. That happened 3 times on his turn.
And so, 2 of them which were against me. So,
Yes.
with that said, at this point, with the last round coming around, you're probably going to see if more stuff dead than not, or you're going to see balls to the wall end up going into something of great high risk where I actually score something.
Right.
So,
and before we go into Mike, I'd like to explain what happens when we lose our lieutenants.
Yes.
Okay.
So usually you have an order pool, and anybody can spend those orders. So, for example, if you have 3 orders and 3 guys, one guy could use all 3 of those orders and do 3 actions. However, if you lose your lieutenant, the order pool becomes irregular, so each person can only use 1 order each. Or they can only use the order that they themselves generate.
Each model generates an order.
Right.
At which, on my turn, because my lieutenant died during my turn, I still had my joint orders. However, on Mike's turn, which he'll explain, he lost his regular orders before his turn got a chance to start.
I lost my lieutenant on Chris's turn, which means that all of my guys wound up with irregular orders. So 4 dudes, 4 orders.
Right.
So we have, this is all about positioning. Gump 1 moves here to cover yon objective from this side. Gump 2 moved here. You can't see it from the camera angle, but there's a doorway here and a doorway here, and he has a clean line of sight through the doors to see this side of the objective. Sniper Joe, stay the course, popped a shot at yon Gump over there behind the wall. They continue to be totally ineffective against each other.
Yep.
And there's a heavy dude right back here, my orc, who moved over to the objective in an attempt to take it. You'll notice they are no longer, the objectives are no longer War Machine coins. Instead, they've been replaced by stylish Rage Quit Radio flag tokens. You can have something similar made by the wonderful folks at Impudent Mortal. So there you go, Walt. There's your plug for this episode. And,
Yes, and they do make a very nice set of terrain for...
Are these his?
No, these are not.
Well, what the heck are you plugging the terrain?
No, but he does make very nice terrain.
Yeah, he does
as
make
well.
fantastic terrain.
Yeah.
So we have, oh boy over here that made a move to the objective and scored nothing. So
We're still tied
Not yet.
0-0, but most likely that may change this next round.
yeah,
So-
by my score, I'm up 3-2 because 3 of his dudes are dead and 1 of mine. But hey, just saying.
Fair enough. I won't argue with that.
So round 3,
Round 3.
that'll be the last turn of the game. So we'll be back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is last round. And Mike Brown, as usual, has picked up his his
Pan-Oceana.
Pan-Oceana victory. And
They're painted blue. It's good enough. I had blue dice.
so my start of the round, I had 3 Gumps, at which one of them died by having just her foot literally in sniper's range.
But then she leaned over and got shot in the head.
Headshot.
But damn. So I moved the other 2 in position to just kind of do whatever. They just cover the other 2 objectives. That's about how my round ended. So Mike, take
We will
over
show
here.
where your dudes are. So there's
Yeah.
one dude over here. And then we'll
That one
move
dude over there
around.
just kind of backed up for the sake of trying
And there's
to...
one dude over there.
Yeah,
Just do whatever.
trying to not die.
Die. Which
Whereas
she's done so well so far,
Yes.
realistically.
that is the only model that the sniper took a shot at and didn't kill.
So my tough rolls were good.
Yeah. So on my side, my orc was already at the objective, so he went ahead in my very first action. For the record, Chris was on irregular actions because this was the first full turn after his lieutenant died.
Correct.
This was my second full turn after my lieutenant died, so I got to elect a new lieutenant, namely the heavy guy. And he was already base to base with the objective, so the very first thing I did was have him use an action, and he was able to control the objective, passing his willpower check. Beyond that, that was enough to win because that put me up 1-0. So I decided to try to high step into the end zone, and that didn't work out too well. I had the Fusilier over here, Blondie's best friend, so we'll call him Dagwood. Dagwood used 1 action. He used my remaining 3. He used 1 full action to double move to the building, another full action to climb up 2 stories here. Random Gump had a chance to kill him and failed, so he then used my last action to try and make a willpower check to control 2 objectives. And like I said, that's what I got for high stepping into the end zone. He failed miserably. I rolled a 20. But up 1-0.
He got to the end zone, realized he didn't have the ball.
Yeah, apparently it's way on the other side of the table over here. So, but yeah, all in all, my Signarin skills for spotting lines of sight served me well. I was waiting for him to actually move somebody out here just so the dude between the doorways could shoot him. I wasn't actually going to mention that the dude could see you until Dennis was like, "Why is he there?" And I'm like,
My bad.
because there's a doorway and he can see clean through it.
Well, it's because I didn't know that either until I actually looked down and went, yeah, double doubles. Oh, well.
So,
Yeah, so the MVP of the game is the
Sniper
sniper
Joe.
dude over here, Sniper Joe. I would dare say that he was a little bit OP in that position, covering the entire field.
Yeah, he could actually see, from this vantage point, he can see all 3 objectives. So,
Or at my best, I would have only seen 2.
yeah, our judge failed at setting up the terrain in a fair and even manner.
You know, to be honest, that setting up the terrain is pretty tough because you have to make sure that there's no lines of sight directly to both of the deployment areas, and you have to make sure that there's no OP sight lines, like for example where Mike set up his sniper.
And truthfully, what I would say is I don't know that this is incredibly OP because realistically, if his sniper had lived, if I didn't just headshot his sniper, then these 2 models would have simply mitigated each other. We would have done nothing except take shots at each other for the entire game with them.
True.
Right.
So
Right.
the only reason it and from there, he actually can see most of 3 objectives. He can see both of these. He can see
the
enough
approaches.
of this one
Yeah.
to catch any approach. So for any AROs, which I don't even remember what that means. But
Automatic reaction order.
okay, sure. That.
Yes.
Basically attack of opportunity. So, yeah. I enjoyed it. First time we've played with lieutenants that I ever have anyway.
Yeah.
First time on a full table with this much terrain, which is kind of awesome. There's a part of me that wants to break out my Signar stuff and actually play with this terrain layout because it'd be awesome. I have guns.
That would suck.
You have
I have trolls.
I have melee, so this is about to,
But I like this plan.
Well,
So.
see, here's the thing. I'm about to say I play with Pyro, so I got tough. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. Go ahead and take yours.
Chris was missing his tough checks there for a little while.
I was. I needed those.
But no.
But here's the thing. My saves, when I did my saves, they were epic.
When you got to have saves.
Yeah.
So at some point, I think I'm going to up the point level here, try and get a couple more figures so we can get more than an introduction game going. But that's a good start anyway.
But no, so I enjoyed it.
Great.
I liked it a lot.
And so, with all that being said, I do like the game. It's pretty good. And so, if you want to hear more thoughts about it, like I said, go to the very first episode of our Rage Quit Radio that we had and get those going. Until then, I guess we'll be back with another game in the near future. And my name's Chris.
I'm Mike.
And the man holding the
And I'm Dennis.
We'll be back. See you soon.